Hi, I'm Luke Morton. I'm really excited to be here at GovX today. So I want to share with you 11 litmus tests for your delivery. I've been working in software delivery for the last 17 years, and 7 of those have been with Maytech, where we deliver outcomes side by side with public sector organizations that improve the lives of citizens. If you've made a career of delivery, you'll know of the pain and the joy of the process. Today, I really want to talk about 11 questions that you can ask of your teams, litmus tests, if you will, to understand whether they're set up to deliver at pace or not. Some of these questions may make you feel awkward. They certainly do me. I'm not claiming that everyone at Maytech is meeting this criteria, but like good feedback, it should make us feel awkward enough to change and improve. You may strongly agree with these questions, but I have to warn you, you may also come out in a rash. I recommend you volley back with a blog post or a talk of your own, as I'd love to hear your views too. Before I get started though, I thought it was worth answering the question, why is accelerating delivery a good thing to do in the first place? I answer this from 2 perspectives really, one of focus and one of feedback. So from the perspective of focus, accelerating the delivery essentially forces us to focus on delivering the most valuable changes and forget everything else. This way we minimize waste, we maximize the value we deliver. Think about an F1 car. There aren't any unnecessary features on an F1 car. It's a lean machine focused on winning races. The reason we're all working in the public sector is to deliver services that make a real material positive impact on the UK public. And so accelerating delivery forces us to focus on that above anything else and get rid of the waste from the process, not deliver any unnecessary features. And then secondly, from the point of feedback and perspective of feedback, because accelerating delivery forces us enables us to effectively deliver change more rapidly, we've also got more opportunity to receive feedback more rapidly. If you're queuing up a release every month or every quarter, you're essentially starving your team of feedback and denying value to your users. If we are shipping to production on a daily basis and validating with users on a weekly basis, the amount of data that we're collecting and able to refine and improve our services on a weekly basis is leagues ahead of what you would get if you were iterating on a slower basis. And so again, the more we accelerate our delivery, the more learning opportunities we've got, and the better the services we deliver will be. And if you think about it, this is how technology startups are disrupting industries left, right, and center. They're sensing and responding at a faster pace than the competition, and that enables them to beat the competition. And I know I hear the bewilderment. How can I compare the public sector to a tech startup? I understand it sounds a bit silly, but in the public sector, we don't have competition in a traditional sense. That's true. But the public sector has a monopoly on its users. Surely that means that there's even more responsibility on us to deliver valuable services to those users. After all, they don't have a choice in the matter. Our integrity depends on delivering valuable services to our users. And I like to think we're in a business of turning public sector organizations into technology startups, but perhaps with less toxic cultures, more diversity, and a bucket load of integrity. The first litmus test is a foundational one. Is there consensus on the problem the team is solving in the first place? It's a really important one. Everyone needs to be aligned from the team all the way up to management and the executive on what problem is being solved. Have you quantified the impact and the risk of the problem you're solving? Have you asked the question of yourselves and your stakeholders whether the problem is even worth solving? Have you asked your users? This is a foundational question that must be answered early on. This is what your discovery process should be focusing on answering. The second litmus test here is a follow-on point, essentially. Is your team trusted by leadership to solve problems rather than build solutions? The team needs to be trusted by leadership, and that trust should effectively, this is another hidden litmus test in here. Your leadership should feel slightly uncomfortable with the level of control the team has. If leadership doesn't, maybe there's a problem. This trust is an essential component for enabling accelerated delivery. We have to remove overbearing governance. We need to enable the teams to work out how best to solve problems. They need to be trusted to build consensus with stakeholders before they execute. So again, here, I'm not saying governance shouldn't exist, but the team should be trusted to ensure that alignment with the wider organization, rather than the wider organization forcing alignment on the team. The team need to be able to decide what constraints to work within. And if you're a leader and you feel really uncomfortable with this, maybe there's a bigger issue. Are you worried about the performance of the team? Is there a lack of transparency from the team that you're needing that would help you build trust? Or perhaps the problem is just with you? It's certainly worth asking the question, I think. Third litmus test here, is the team allowed to decide how it works and the tools it uses? Again, this comes back to trust. Can the team decide their ways of working? If the team wants to take the training wheels off, if they want to move from Scrum to Kanban, if they want to throw story pointing out the window and all the bureaucracy that comes with it, can they? High-performing teams are able to learn and adapt how they work and what tools they use. Sure, as an organization, you should have a sensible set of defaults. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Community of practices should have a set of tools and defaults for teams. But if a team wants to experiment, if a team learns that there's a better process for the problem that they're solving, they should have the freedom to be able to choose that. And crucially, retrospectives should be driving changes, and action points that come out of retrospectives shouldn't need permission from elsewhere in the business. The organization should be, the team should be able to make the changes they need to be to improve their processes and ultimately solve the problem that they're there to solve. Does the whole team understand who their users are and the impact on their lives? Teams are going to be much more able to prioritize on the things that matter the most if they have a full understanding of who the users are and the genuine impact that we're trying to have and understanding their needs. In this way, user research is a team sport. Everyone should be getting involved in user research and building empathy for the user. Purpose is a motivational factor too. Understanding why we're doing the work we're doing, and again, hopefully improving society for everyone. This empathy helps us deliver value and helps us to deliver at a greater pace and with great conviction. Egoless superheroes. I think that's something to aim for. The fifth litmus test: do your discoveries include the right technical folk? And I know, I work for an organization with tech in the name, but that's not the reason I'm asking this question. All too often, I see deliveries and alphas being treated as design phases that only consist or mostly consist of design folk. I really think this is a shortcoming, and I think we have to make sure that we've got well-rounded teams. If you're unable to understand the technical constraints and quantify the impact of technology on the problem you're solving in your discovery, you're effectively deciding to carry a risk forward into subsequent stages of delivery. It's going to be much more expensive if you realize the existing constraints make your solutions unfeasible if you haven't considered technology early on. So I'm stressing here, avoid the rework, avoid it. Understand your constraints and enable the whole team to learn at the same time, rather than creating handoffs between phases. And perhaps a related point here: are your designers and developers collaborating on the same code? It used to be PSDs metaphorically thrown over fences. These days we see rich, clickable prototypes flying about the place. But why shouldn't designers work on code too? the GDS design system, the NHS design system, they're built to be used by people with minimal coding experience. And so there's no reason why designers can't work on prototypes themselves or alongside a developer. There's no reason why they can't be involved in later stages of delivery, working side by side and pairing with developers, making sure that user needs are incorporated into any UI and UX work. If anyone in the delivery is talking about design team and a dev team, you've got yourself a problem. And diversity on a more general point, this next litmus test, does your team contain a good level of diversity? And I mean this in all kinds of ways, whether it's people's backgrounds, experiences, demographics. Diversity should be seen as a strength. Diversity means there's less implicit bias in the team. If we've all coming from different backgrounds, we're going to have different ways of thinking about the world. And therefore, for us to align on how we're going to solve a problem, we're going to have to talk more to each other. We're going to be more explicit about our communication. That communication right there is where the great ideas come from. It enables us to reduce groupthink, having an increased level of empathy, and a higher chance of delivering the right thing as a team. And can your team even get changes in front of users in less than a day? This one's a critical component, right? You really can't stress this enough. In order to accelerate delivery, in order to deliver value, you need to be able to get those feedback cycles happening. And therefore, you need to be able to deliver value on a daily basis. You need the technical, if we're talking about digital services here, you need the technical setup of pipelines or whatever else to make sure that you're running automated tests on every code change. That's really important for building confidence in quality while still moving quickly. But another common one here is another common issue, should I say, are your code branches merged every day? I'm really against using branching of any kind beyond more than one day. And I don't want to get too technical here, but effectively, if you're saying to your teams, no, you can't merge that code into a production environment, you're effectively causing that code to rot. All too often, I hear about branching strategies or release plans that mean work collects dust for months. But anyone who's waited and then tried to merge in those changes 3 months down the line, or even worse, you know that there's a hell of a lot of effort that has to go in to actually make that code work at that time. I've seen, this is in my own experience, but I've seen up to 100% worth of effort needing to be put back in order to make those changes ready. So at that rate, you're essentially paying for work twice. And where is the sense of that? And is your team trusted to deploy into production autonomously? This is a critical point in trust. If a team's unable to deploy on a daily basis, those feedback loops will be real for the team. You'll be getting out of the way of the team from them being able to learn and maximize their opportunity for learning. Being able to put changes in front of users on a regular basis and get validation in the form of feedback and data on a daily basis, you're going to be able to iterate and deliver value much quicker. This one I'm a big believer in. Can new joiners make meaningful contributions on their first day? I think it's really important, just from a cultural perspective from a team, for new team members to feel productive and valued on day one. It's a really good tone to be setting. So this means having the right information available at the right time. A getting started guide could be a wonderful thing and a great jumping off point. And are your team open to pairing with new joiners? And I'm not talking about just pair programming here. I'm talking about pairing on any kind of problem, whether it's design or something else. And if they're not able to do that, then why not? Is there a bigger issue there? And having work broken down into small enough chunks can help new members to pick up a small task and be productive. If your team's telling you that there's a lot of context that you need to pick up here, it's going to take you a few weeks to get productive, then maybe there's a bigger problem there too. by solving this problem for new joiners, there's a kind of secret value in this and an added bonus. And maybe the real point of this is the resilience that gets added to your team's ability to deliver. If you can manage turnover on the team, you've got the added benefit of avoiding heroes and knowledge silos, and that for your organization helps you reduce the risk of institutional knowledge loss when people leave, and that can only be a good thing. Litmus test number 10. Is everyone working on the same iteration goal? Design teams working 2 sprints ahead is a false economy. It's a sign that you're creating handoffs. You're going to cover old ground when another team needs to pick up the work. You're going to create more rework. You're going to create more waste. When your developers need to interpret research from a JIRA ticket, you're going to have a bad time. I'm telling you from experience. Everyone should be getting the same context at the same time, working on the same problem, delivering value together. The goal here, like I say, is minimizing rework, reducing waste, and delivering value faster. And finally, are the team excited about the work they're working on, and are they showing that to you? Are there regular show and tell set up that anyone can attend? Does the team engage with your feedback? Is it even clear to you how to engage with the team? And I think this flips the other way too, right? Nothing kills a team more than a show and tell without any questions. The morale is incredibly important for teams. An engaged team will be able to deliver at a faster pace. Does your wider organization even know what role they play in the delivery? And how can you create a better culture around that? That's important to solve too. And at the end of the day, passion derives from purpose, and that leads to fun. And who doesn't want more fun at work? So thanks for listening to me there. There's a couple of links up here. You can find me on Twitter at Luke Morton. You can find out more about MadeTech at our website, www.madetech.com. Like I said before, I work for MadeTech. We deliver outcomes across the public sector, but we also write books on high-performing teams and modernizing legacy. So please be sure to check us out. And like I said at the beginning, I'm really keen to hear your feedback, whether that's a tweet, email, blog post, whatever. And don't forget, I'll be attending the Accelerating Delivery panel at GovX, where you'll be able to ask questions too. So thank you very much.